My stepdaughter died 4 weeks ago, and I caught my husband and his ex-wife in our bed. It's been 4 weeks since my stepdaughter Ariana, 14 years old, passed away. I've been in her life since she was 7, and we had a bond that I can only describe as incredibly close, as if she were my own daughter. The loss has been unimaginable, and every day feels like a struggle. My husband Jeremy, 40 years old, his ex-wife Elena, 38 years old, and I, 35 years old, have always had a good relationship. In the 7 years I've been with Jeremy, Elena and I have never had a serious disagreement or tension. Elena has always been kind to me, and even when Ariana started calling me mom, she didn't have an issue with it. There was always mutual respect. After Ariana's passing, Elena's grief became overwhelming. Her anxiety and depression took a toll on her, and she couldn't bear to be alone. Without any family support, we invited Elena to stay with us, hoping it would offer her some comfort. For the past few weeks, Elena has hardly left the house. Most of her time is spent sleeping in Ariana's room, a place that still smells of her presence, of the life she used to have. I try my best to be there for her, offering support whenever she needs it. I tell her often that it's okay to grieve in her own way, at her own pace. There's no rush, no judgment. Today, I had some errands to run, and I thought maybe Elena might want to get out of the house for a while, even if it was just a small distraction. I invited her to come with me, but she declined, saying she'd rather stay home and sleep. I understood and told Jeremy I was heading out. I reminded him to check on Elena now and then and encourage her to eat something, even if it was just a little. Jeremy works from home, so I knew he'd be there. I went about my errands, and after stopping at the post office, I realized I had forgotten my library book. It wasn't a big deal, but I knew I needed to pick it up before I got too far. So I turned back, heading home to get the book. As soon as I walked through the door, I heard sounds coming from our bedroom, moaning. It was the last thing I expected to hear, and in that moment, I felt my heart stop. I didn't need to walk any closer to know what was happening. The gut-wrenching realization hit me like a tidal wave. I didn't know what to do at first, my body frozen in shock. Part of me wanted to run out of the house to pretend I hadn't heard anything, but I knew that wasn't an option. I had to confront them. So I made my way to the bedroom, the weight of every step almost too much to bear. When I opened the door, I couldn't hold back the flood of emotions. My voice came out in a shout, sharp and broken, demanding to know what the hell was going on. Elena bolted from the room, her anxiety attack taking over her body. She ran straight to the bathroom, tears streaming down her face, leaving Jeremy standing there stammering apologies, his face pale and filled with regret. He couldn't even look at me. I stood there trembling with disbelief, my chest heavy with pain. I asked Jeremy what had happened. His voice cracked as he explained, his words tumbling out in an incoherent rush. He said that he'd made lunch for himself and Elena, and they started talking about Ariana, reminiscing about her. At some point, Elena had kissed him, and he didn't pull away. One thing led to another, and before they knew it, they were in our bed. The room felt suffocating. They kept pleading with me, begging me to understand that it was all a result of grief, that their actions were a mistake and they didn't know how it happened. They both kept saying they were sorry, as if that was supposed to make it better. I don't know what to do anymore. I love Jeremy. I love Elena too. I've been in their lives for so long, and this betrayal is something I never expected, never could have imagined. They've both hurt me in ways I don't know how to process. I feel like I'm caught in the middle of something I can't untangle. I'm heartbroken, confused, and stuck between my love for both of them and the shattered trust that seems impossible to rebuild. I don't know how to move forward. I don't know if I can forgive them or if I even want to. The emotional weight of it all is crushing, and I'm left here trying to figure out what the next step is, if there's even a path that leads back to what we once had. I'm lost. I just need some clarity. Update 1. I've made the decision to file for a divorce. I can't trust Jeremy anymore, not in the way I once did. It's painful, beyond words. We had what I thought was an incredible relationship, one that I believed in with all my heart. Jeremy has always been kind and loving, so this betrayal has shattered everything. It was completely unexpected, and I never saw it coming. Last night, Jeremy came over to talk. He confessed to everything. The depth of it all left me in a state of shock. It wasn't just a one-time mistake, as I had foolishly hoped. They've been sleeping together since 3 months before Ariana passed away. I feel like I'm drowning in disbelief. The love I thought we shared, the trust we built, it was all a lie. My heart aches in ways I didn't know were possible. On top of that, Elena reached out to me last night as well. She thanked me for everything I did for her and offered a half-hearted apology. It felt empty, like the words were meant to placate me but didn't hold any real meaning. I couldn't bring myself to respond. I blocked her without hesitation. It was the only thing that felt right in that moment. Elena wasn't just Jeremy's ex-wife, she was someone I considered a friend. I did so much for her, welcomed her into my life, my home, and now I can't even look at her without feeling betrayed. This hurts more than I ever imagined. The weight of it all is unbearable. It's like my whole world has been ripped apart, and now I'm left to pick up the pieces of a life I thought was secure and loving. I've reached my breaking point. As much as it pains me, I know that I need to leave Jeremy behind. I need to cut both of them out of my life. I can't move forward while holding on to this toxic past. Some people have said I deserve this. Maybe I should have known better than to let Elena stay in our home, especially around Jeremy. They claim I was naive for trusting her, for believing she would never betray me. But you have to understand, I'm the kind of person who gives a lot. I trust others far too easily, sometimes to my own detriment. I genuinely thought Elena was a good person, someone who could be a friend. It's not typical, I know, to become friends with your husband's ex-wife, but that's just how things happened for us. I can't be blamed for that. I never could have imagined that it would all turn into this nightmare. Thank you to everyone who has sent me kind words and supportive messages. You have no idea how much your encouragement has meant to me during this incredibly difficult time. Your support is the one thing keeping me going as I face the hard road ahead. I truly appreciate it more than you'll ever know. Update 2. I've been getting a lot of questions, so I thought I'd take a moment to answer some of them. The overwhelming support from so many of you has been incredible, and I appreciate the kind words and advice more than you can imagine. Here's a bit more context to clarify things. Have I told anyone about what happened besides my mom? Yes, I've confided in a few close friends and family members. I needed to share what I was going through, and most of them have been nothing but supportive. They're upset with Jeremy, and many of them aren't speaking to him. They've been trying to offer me strength and understanding during this time, and I'm so grateful for that. Where is Jeremy staying now? At the moment, he's staying in a hotel. He's reached out to a few mutual friends, but they've all refused to take him in. He's burned a lot of bridges, and it's hard to feel sorry for him. This is the reality of the consequences of his choices. He doesn't have anyone to lean on now, and that's honestly a small comfort for me. I hope it makes him reflect, but I'm not holding my breath.
Has Jeremy tried to fight me on getting a divorce?
Yes, he's begged me repeatedly not to go through with it. He's apologized over and over, telling me how much he regrets everything. But when I told him that I needed him to just let me go, that I couldn't keep fighting for a relationship that had already been destroyed, he finally stopped pushing. He reluctantly agreed to the divorce. I didn't want to drag this out any longer, and his eventual acceptance of it felt like a quiet surrender. It's hard to feel victorious in this, but at least there's no more denial. It's done.
Why isn't Jeremy staying with Elena?
After everything came out, Jeremy told me he didn't want to continue hurting me. He said that he had made a final decision and cut off all communication with Elena. He told her he was done with her for good and that there was no need for them to stay in touch anymore. I honestly don't know if that's the truth or if he's just saying what I want to hear to avoid more conflict. But at this point, I don't care what they do anymore. Whether they end up together or not doesn't affect me. I've made my decision, and I'm moving forward, whatever their choices may be. What was Jeremy's excuse for cheating? His excuse was sickening to hear. He told me that one night when I was at my mom's, he and Elena accidentally reconnected. He said they had a conversation about how stressed he was over our inability to conceive and the pain of experiencing multiple miscarriages. He claimed he was venting, and somehow that led to them having sex. I can't even begin to express how disgusted I am by their actions. It's a flimsy excuse, and it doesn't change the fact that they both betrayed me. He took the pain of our shared struggles and used it as an opportunity to reconnect with someone he should have stayed away from. It's a betrayal on so many levels. The worst part is that he's never fully acknowledged how deeply this has hurt me. There's no justification for what they did, no matter how he tries to explain it. I'm still processing everything, and I'm not sure how long it'll take to heal, but I'm done looking back. I've made my peace with the fact that I need to leave Jeremy behind, and now it's just a matter of moving forward. I know it's not going to be easy, but I'm focused on reclaiming my peace. I'm trying to stay strong, and I'm incredibly thankful for everyone who has offered their support. Your kindness means more than I can say. If you have any more questions or thoughts, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to respond. Update 3. I found out this morning that Jeremy is not staying at the hotel like he originally said. He's been staying with Elena. When I confronted him about it, he tried to justify it by saying that the hotel was just too expensive and that Elena was the only one willing to help him right now. Part of me had a sinking feeling this was going to happen, but hearing it from his mouth was still a gut punch. Knowing that they're likely still spending time together, possibly even sleeping together, just tears at me. My heart aches every time I think about it. Like, I've been trying to process all of this and gather myself. I spoke with my lawyer this morning and we're moving forward with the divorce just as I'd planned. Jeremy has agreed to everything. He hasn't fought me on it at all. It's actually happening, and as much as I still love him, there's a strange sense of relief knowing he won't drag this out. I'm not sure I could take much more of the back and forth. My mom is leaving on Sunday, and I'm feeling a little anxious about being alone again. She's been such a source of comfort, especially with everything going on. I'm nervous about what it will feel like without her here, but I'm trying to remind myself that I'll be busy with work starting Monday. I'm hoping the routine will help distract me from the overwhelming emotions I've been dealing with lately. As I try to move forward, I decided to go through some of Ariana's things today. It was both heartbreaking and comforting, opening her box of belongings. I wasn't prepared for what I would find. Her diary, tucked away in the back of her closet. I feel an overwhelming pull to read it. Part of me believes that doing so might help me feel closer to her, to understand her better, even though she's gone. But another part of me feels guilty, like I'm intruding on something personal, something that should remain private. I'm not sure if I should tell Jeremy that I found it either. I'm conflicted. Should I read it or leave it untouched? I feel like it could bring me a sense of peace, but at the same time, I don't want to cross any boundaries. I'd really appreciate your thoughts on this. What would you do in my shoes? I'm so grateful for everyone's support through all of this. It's been a lifeline for me. Thank you for being there, for listening, and for your kindness. Update 4. My mom is leaving in just a couple of hours, and honestly, I'm kind of panicking about being alone again. She's been my anchor these past few weeks, constantly helping me keep my mind off things and giving me the support I desperately needed. I can't even begin to imagine what it's going to feel like when she's gone. It's hard to grasp the idea of facing everything without her here, especially with all the weight of what's happened. I don't know how I'm going to manage without her. Tomorrow, I'm back to work. It's been the first time since Ariana passed, and I've been dreading it but also looking forward to it in a strange way. I think part of me needs the distraction. I don't want to feel like I'm wallowing in sadness all the time. Work will give me something to focus on, something that feels normal again. I'm just hoping it doesn't feel too much like I'm carrying the grief with me the whole time. I'm nervous about facing everyone, about how things will feel, but at the same time, I'm almost grateful for the routine it might bring. I also went ahead and read more of Ariana's diary today. The words she wrote have had such an emotional pull on me. She was truly a sweetheart, more than I even realized. Reading her thoughts, the simple joys she wrote about, it made me love her even more. I even found a few entries from a few months ago where she noticed something unusual between Jeremy and Elena. She didn't outright say anything about the affair, but she wrote how it struck her as odd that they were spending so much time together, just the three of them, without me. I can't help but wonder if on some level she knew more than I thought. It's heartbreaking to think she might have had to carry that knowledge in silence, but her words showed me how perceptive she was. So far, the diary has been a mix of ordinary teenage stuff. Crushes, fights with friends, the kind of silly things you would expect. I haven't found anything truly upsetting yet, though part of me is scared to keep reading. I keep reminding myself that I want to honor her memory and not invade her privacy, but I can't help the pull I feel to understand her world a little more, even if it's painful. Tomorrow, I also have another meeting with my lawyer. I'm trying to keep my focus there, as difficult as it is. I know there's still so much to figure out, and I'm just trying to stay strong enough to get through it. I'll update again after that, though I'm honestly not sure how much more I can handle in one day. I'm taking things one step at a time. The first week back at work surprisingly went better than I expected. I wasn't sure how I would cope, but thankfully my coworkers were incredibly supportive and patient. They allowed me the space I needed to adjust, and for that, I'm so grateful. It was a small victory, but it meant a lot. Friday night came and I made the decision to drive up to my mom's for the weekend. I didn't want to be alone again, not just yet. Having a long weekend helped, and I figured it would give me the time I needed to reset and just be around familiar comfort. I feel so much better being with her. It's like I can breathe easier even just for a little while. Tomorrow I'll be heading back home, and I'm honestly not looking forward to it, but I know I can't run away from everything forever. I just need to take it one day at a time. Update 5. I found out that Elena created a fake Facebook profile to send me a message. She said she wants to sue me for sharing my story with strangers. And apparently, Jeremy is backing her up in this. I can't believe this is happening. How dare they? How can they not see how hurt I am, how destroyed I am by everything that's happened? I just needed to express myself, to talk to people who might understand, but now I'm being attacked for it. Is there no space for me to vent? to process this pain. Why does everything have to turn against me? This is just too much. I've been trying so hard to stay strong, to keep moving forward, but I feel like I'm drowning. It's not just the betrayal, it's the weight of it all. I'm exhausted emotionally and physically. I can't catch a break, and I'm so tired of fighting. And then there's Ariana. Oh God, I miss her so much. My heart aches for her every single day. I want her back more than anything. I want to hear her laugh again, to see that mischievous sparkle in her eyes when she was about to tell one of her ridiculous dad jokes, just to make me smile when I was sad. I miss how she would sit with me in the garden, just enjoying the quiet, the simple beauty of it all. I miss the way she showed me her new drawing, so proud of every line she put on paper. I miss everything about her. I miss the way she made life feel full, even on the hardest days. I would give anything to have just one more moment with her, to hold her, to tell her how much I love her, how much she meant to me. The pain of losing her doesn't seem to get any easier. It's like there's a hole in my chest that just keeps getting bigger, but I need to keep going. I know I have to. I have to keep moving, even when it feels like there's nothing left. I can't let this define me forever. I'm trying, I really am. Some days feel almost impossible, but I know I have to keep going for her memory. For Ariana. Edit. Thank you to everyone who has reached out to check on me. I appreciate it more than you know. I'm okay, just had a moment where I needed to let everything out. Some days are worse than others, and today was one of those days. But I know I'll get through it, even if it doesn't feel that way right now. I'm so thankful for the support I've received from this small community, from people who understand, even if they don't know me. Your kindness has meant the world to me during this time. Thank you all so much for being there. Update 6. Elena tragically took her own life on June 20th. I'm still reeling from the news, trying to make sense of everything that's happened. She caused me so much pain, yet this is the last thing I ever wanted for her. I never imagined things would end like this. And now Jeremy blames me. I can't even begin to express all the emotions that have been rushing through me. There's guilt, confusion, sorrow, anger. It's like my heart is being pulled in 1,000 different directions. And yet, at the same time, I feel nothing. It's as though my body and mind are disconnected from the reality of it all. I'm going to step away for a while to process. I know it's going to take time, but I don't have the strength to go through everything right now. But I did want to update you all, because your support has been such a lifeline for me through this. I've decided to take the advice many of you gave me and take some time for myself. I'm leaving for a trip, something I never thought I'd do after everything. But my work has been kind enough to give me time off until mid-August, and I know I need a break. It wasn't easy though. I've been so grateful to have my mom and my best friend with me during the hardest times. They've both been incredible, staying with me whenever they could, but I started to feel like I was leaning on them too much. I didn't want to take up all their space, so I decided that a change of scenery might help. In a week, I'll be flying to Norway. Ariana and I always dreamed of going there together. It was on our bucket list, something we talked about so many times. It feels strange, but also comforting to be going there now. I know she would have been so happy for me, so excited for this adventure, even though it's not the trip we planned together. I'm going to take this time to remember her, to honor her, and to start healing. I've also been thinking about getting a pet when I return. I've always wanted a dog, and I feel like it might help me through this healing process. But part of me wonders if I should wait until I've moved to get settled before taking on the responsibility. Thank you again to everyone who has offered support, who has recommended I do this. I know Ariana would be thrilled that I'm finally taking this step, and maybe, just maybe, it'll help me take another step forward too. Update 7.
Hey everyone!
It feels like it's been ages since I last posted, and I've been receiving so many messages asking for an update, so here I am, finally, sharing a bit of where I'm at. Norway was truly an experience I'll never forget. The landscapes were absolutely breathtaking, majestic fjords, stunning mountains, and the most beautiful, serene places I could have imagined. I also met some incredible people while I was there. I found a sense of peace that I hadn't known in so long, and I can't wait to return one day. Ariana would have loved it too. We always talked about traveling together, and I could feel her spirit with me, in a way, as I explored. It felt like a small step forward. A couple of weeks ago marked the 6-month anniversary of Ariana's death. I can't even begin to explain the weight of that day. 6 months feels like a lifetime and yet just a heartbeat. On the one hand, it's still so painful. It doesn't feel real. But on the other hand, I've noticed that each day feels just a bit easier. I can get up, do the basic things again, and yet I find myself feeling guilty for moving on, for healing. It's almost as if I'm betraying her memory, but I know that's not true. I guess it's just hard to accept that you're still alive when someone so precious is gone. Maybe some of you understand what I mean. I moved out of Jeremy and my house a month ago, and I'm now in a cozy little place of my own. It's been a fresh start, though there are still moments where it doesn't feel real. I've settled in, decorated it with the things that make me feel peaceful. Oh, and I also adopted a dog. His name is Charlie, and he's a little Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. He's become my companion, my little comfort, and I absolutely adore him. He's been such a joy, and it feels good to have him around. I think Ariana would have liked him too. As for Jeremy, well, the divorce was finalized last week, and that's a weight off my shoulders. The process was surprisingly smooth, though I never imagined I'd be saying that after everything. It's done, and I feel free from the ties that once bound me to him. There's a strange kind of relief in that, but it doesn't feel entirely satisfying. We agreed on everything, except for Ariana's things. When it came time to divide her belongings, Jeremy didn't want anything. He said he couldn't handle it, didn't want the memories. I tried to get him to take at least something, a photo, a drawing, but he refused. So all of Ariana's things are now with me. It feels strange to have them all, and I don't know what to do with them yet. They're just sitting in the guest room for now, untouched, like I'm waiting for the right moment to figure it all out. I heard from a mutual friend that Jeremy's been struggling. Apparently, he's turned to alcohol and quit his job. It's hard to hear, but also, it's hard to feel sorry for him after everything. I know that's not what I'm supposed to say, but there's no easy way to put it. I don't want to be cold, but at the same time, I can't pretend to care when everything he did destroyed me. I'm not sure what else to share right now. There's still so much swirling in my head, but for now, I just wanted to let you all know I'm okay and I'm taking things day by day. Thank you again, from the bottom of my heart, for all of your support. I've made some friends here, and I feel so grateful to each and every one of you for helping me through this. Your kindness means the world to me. Thank you.